A Hamilton man at the center of a wide-scale W5 investigation into an alleged sexual assault ring is now facing dozens of additional charges. Good afternoon. We're learning of new charges against Brian Hayward, who appeared at a Hamilton courtroom today.
He was part of a recent W5 investigation into a network of thousands of men who allegedly secretly drug their wives and intimate partners and then post the videos online. CTV's John Musselman is joining us now from the Hamilton Police Headquarters with this update. John.
Well, Michelle, as you mentioned, it is a disturbing and complex investigation. We can tell you that Hayward appeared in a Hamilton courtroom this morning to face these additional new counts, including administering a noxious substance, sharing intimate pictures over the internet. Now, these new charges come amid the W5 investigation, as you mentioned, alleging a network of thousands of men who secretly drugged their wives and intimate partners and then posted these videos online. Hayward's profile was then discovered on the platform where he allegedly uploaded what may be the drugging and raping of at least 5 or 6 different women. Now, we did have a chance to speak to the lead detective in this case. Here is what he had to tell us just a short time ago.
I do believe that there would be more victims that may not necessarily know that they were victims of Brian Hayward. We are appealing for anyone that's had contact with Brian in any capacity that they may be a victim to reach out to us and have a conversation with us. We are leaving it in their control as to whether they wish to report any assaults, but we do ask if they are comfortable reaching out to either reach out to us or there are other supports in the community they can reach out to as well.
Now, the detectives went on to tell me that they believe that this case is locally centered. The accused here, Hayward, has been remanded in custody. He'll be back in court on July 11th. Reporting live in Hamilton, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Emergency crews remain on the scene of a fire in Hamilton. This is the scene in the Main Street East and Emerald Street area where smoke still billowing from the roof of at least one building. Police have blocked off roads to this area. The Hamilton Fire Department has not said what caused this fire to break out. 5 people, including 4 children, are in hospital after a crash in Mississauga, and police are on the hunt for the occupants of one of the vehicles who fled the scene. The crash happened around 4 yesterday afternoon on 9th Line and Candlelight Drive east of Highway 407. At the time, a woman and 3 of the children were rushed to hospital in critical condition. Everyone who is injured is now said to be in stable condition. The woman is the mother of 2 of the kids, and the other 2 are their friends. They range in age from 9 to 12 years old. Police say the people who were in the black Range Rover ran from the scene. Now, police say this crash may be linked to an earlier incident outside Lifetime Gym on Winston Churchill. Police say there was an altercation between the people in that Range Rover and somebody else in another vehicle, and the Range Rover may have been followed by multiple vehicles leading up to the crash.
There are unconfirmed reports at this point that the initial interaction that happened over at the gym did involve a firearm. So it is to be kept in mind that individuals fleeing this scene in a likely northbound direction, I'm just appealing to residents that live in the area here. It's not uncommon to know that that criminals, if fleeing a scene, may try to dispose of a firearm or other evidence. So I ask that residents check their backyards, please, and if they see anything suspicious, please don't touch whatever it is you see and call police.
The occupants of the Range Rover are described as young men wearing dark clothing.
Provincial police have made a pair of arrests in connection with a series of incidents that allegedly saw rocks thrown at moving vehicles. Between September and November of last year, OPP say they received reports of rocks being thrown at moving vehicles on Highway 48 in Markham. In one case, investigators say it caused a crash where 2 people suffered life-threatening injuries. In another, a rock went through the window of a GO bus. 2 18-year-old men are now charged with aggravated assault, mischief endangering life, and mischief damage to property.
A 56-year-old man has died in hospital after being hit by a dump truck while riding an e-scooter in Etobicoke. This crash happened at North Queen Street and Atomic Avenue around 3:15 yesterday afternoon. Police say the e-scooter was heading east on North Queen and the dump truck was heading north on Atomic when the truck made a left turn and the scooter hit its side. Police want to speak with anyone who may have witnessed this crash or may have footage of what happened. Meantime, Toronto police are asking for the public's help in identifying this suspect. Around 11:30 p.m. on Canada Day, investigators allege he struck a crowd of people with his motorcycle at the waterfront near Queens Quay. One person suffered minor injuries, and police say the suspect then fled the scene, leaving his motorcycle behind. Anyone with information is asked to contact police, or they can make an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers.
Lanes have reopened on the eastbound Lakeshore after a car flipped over the guardrail early this morning. Police say it happened around 4:30 in the morning. One vehicle was involved. The driver, who was the only person in the car, was able to exit and was assessed by EMS. No word on his condition. Blue Jay fans are riding high today after the Jays swept the Yankees last night.
They now stand alone at the top of the American League East. CTV's Allison Hurst is live at Rogers Centre with more reaction from fans. And Allison, it's a great time to be a Jays fan.
It certainly is, and there's a lot of excitement from Jays fans as the Jays sit, as you mentioned, alone on top of the AL East after last night's win over the Yankees and completion of a 4-game series sweep. But first, we've got to start with George Springer, who has been on a hot streak and had 2 home runs last night, helping them to the 8-5 defeat over the Yankees. But all 4 corners of the Jays roster have been showing up, including Nathan Lucas, who was in the leadoff position last night and had an incredible 14-pitch at-bat that poked out a 2-run double, taking the lead in the 4th. These 3 super fans here are from Dawson's Creek, which is in northern BC, and they're here to see the Jays play. A group of 9 of them in total flew all the way across the country to watch the next series, and they even managed to squeeze in last night's game 2.
Well, how about those Springer dingers, right?
I am so excited. I just can hardly wait to watch Kirk play again. He's my most favorite player. So, yeah, I'm very excited. I never miss a game at home. So, yeah, coming down is just a thrill.
Amazing again. Who would have thought the way they started off this year and now where they're at, just beautiful.
So those fans, and certainly lots of fans here in Toronto, are all hoping that the Jays are going to stay on top of the AL East. They're facing the Angels tonight, and this is the first time that this late in the season they have been alone on top of the division. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Back to you in studio.
How sweet it is. Thank you, Allison. And now we're going to take a live look outside here at the water. The lake is sparkling. It is a beautiful Friday in the city. The sun is shining, the temperature very comfortable. And if we look at the satellite radar, yeah, not much to show you. That's because we have a clear sky today, beautiful conditions across southern Ontario. And if we look at the winds, relatively light. Right now coming into the south in Toronto, 17 kilometers an hour, but not much in the way of wind today, which will make it very comfortable. With the Humidex in Hamilton, feeling a little warmer, like 25 in Niagara Falls and 23 in Orangeville. So again, it's not that oppressive today. At the Toronto Islands this hour, feeling like 25 degrees with the humidity, very comfortable. If you're looking to play Frisbee golf over there or explore, even warmer at Pearson Airport with 24 degrees, feeling like 25, and just a light wind. Beautiful Friday, and we're heading into a lovely weekend in July, but I will note we're going to turn up the heat and the humidity. We'll break it all down for you a little later in the newscast.
Now to a troubling incident in York Region where a group of Canada geese may have been deliberately run down. The city of Markham says it happened at about 2 in the afternoon on Birchmount Road between 14th Avenue and Enterprise Boulevard. This is an area where there are signs warning drivers about geese crossing. Now, 5 geese were killed when they were struck by a vehicle, and 2 others were seriously injured. A spokesperson for the city says several people at the scene were concerned the geese may have been struck on purpose. The geese who survived have been taken to a wildlife refuge. The city is asking anyone who witnessed the incident to contact them.
Now to a story we've been following. Small businesses targeted in pin pad refund thefts, with thousands of dollars being stolen in a matter of seconds.
More victims have come forward, and as CTV's John Woodward reports, there appears to be a connection between two separate cases.
Oh, it's terrible.
That was 74-year-old Shiro Mauro's reaction when he saw what had happened as he minded his son's flower shop on the Danforth in Toronto last Saturday. The surveillance video shows while one man distracts him, another grabs his point-of-sale terminal and swaps it out. Once they had it, the thieves refunded themselves $2,000. Mauro called the police.
$2,000 is a lot of money for the small business on Danforth.
2 days later, over in Pickering, security video shows a similar scam at Total Tire. One of these people distracts one staff member, and there it is again, the pin pad swapped out. Owner Charmaine Carvalho says they discovered multiple small refunds totaling some $1,400, all done through the independent refund option on the terminal.
It's very fortunate that I caught it in that timeline, because if I hadn't, we wouldn't know how much more he could keep charging.
Joining a list of businesses who have been victimized by thieves by the very technology they use to accept money from customers. This happened at the Souvlaki Hut on Queen Street East on Monday. But the difference is, with these two crimes, they're connected. Carvalho discovered that the pin pad thieves left behind at her store is the same one as the one taken from Mauro at the flower shop.
That's what surprises us, that the range is pretty far.
The thieves possibly organized. Mauro wants the police to step in.
I want you to catch these two people, and also I want the money back.
Toronto police say they're investigating. It's unclear yet if the Toronto police are liaising with Durham Regional Police. John Woodward, CTV News.
And if you have a story you'd like us to investigate, send us an email to investigate@ctv.ca. Well, new data is showing the impact of the ongoing trade war.
And reasons to be optimistic about Canada's efforts to diversify its export market. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
Canada-U.S. trade is stuck in a tariff-induced rut, according to new numbers from Statistics Canada. Exports of Canadian goods to the United States have decreased for a fourth consecutive month, costing businesses billions.
Businesses are really kind of in suspended animation right now. And you always worry about losing a customer, even if it's just for a matter of months, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get that customer back.
This snapshot of the state of trade with Canada's largest export market comes amid some better news. Canada's overall merchandise trade deficit narrowed slightly in May. Imports fell 1.6% to $66 billion, while exports were up 1.1% to $60 billion. These figures bringing the deficit to $5.9 billion, down from April's record-setting $7.6 billion. The slight rebound attributed to exports of Canadian goods to other countries hitting a record high. Experts say this is a direct result of efforts to diversify Canada's international trade relationships.
What we're seeing in the numbers is somewhat encouraging. I mean, that, exporters, Canadian companies are taking that spare capacity that the United States created, or the empty space on the order books, and are able to, in some cases, fill it with other markets.
Those I spoke with today said with Canadian businesses working to lessen their reliance on the U.S., the worst may be in the rearview mirror. But until Prime Minister Mark Carney locks in a trade pact with U.S. President Donald Trump, the road ahead will remain rocky. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, the C.D. Howe Institute predicts Ottawa's defense spending plans expected to significantly raise Canada's deficit in the coming years. The think tank expects the deficit to top $92 billion this fiscal year. And that's because of Prime Minister Carney's plan to meet NATO's defense spending targets. The Institute forecasts deficits will average around $78 billion a year for the next 4 years. And that's more than double the prediction of the parliamentary budget officer before the spring election.
In Alberta, Pierre Poilievre has kicked off his campaign. The Conservative leader is now registered to run in the August 18th by-election in the riding of Battle River Crowfoot. The seat became available after MP Damien Curick stepped down, giving Poilievre a chance to return to the House of Commons. Poilievre lost his long-held Ottawa area seat to a Liberal in the April election. So far, the only other candidate registered in Battle River Crowfoot is independent Bonnie Critchley.
A mandatory evacuation order has been issued for a town in northern Manitoba. Wildfires are forcing residents of Lynn Lake to flee. A loss of power is also expected, and if the blaze affects transmission lines, the resulting outage could last as long as a month. In neighboring Saskatchewan, 5 communities are currently under wildfire evacuation orders.
Ukraine has suffered its largest aerial assault of the war. Russia launched 550 drones and missiles across Ukraine overnight. Kyiv was the primary target. Authorities said 1 person was killed and at least 26 people were injured. The strike on the capital happened hours after Donald Trump had a call with his Russian counterpart, President Vladimir Putin. Afterward, a disappointed Trump said he doesn't think Putin is looking to stop the fighting. The U.S. president also spoke with Volodymyr Zelensky. The Ukrainians said they discussed air defense, joint defense production, and purchases.
As Americans celebrate the 4th of July, Donald Trump will hold a ceremony later today signing into law his $4.5 trillion mega bill.
I think it's very popular. It does many things, but one of them is the biggest tax cuts in our country's history. And that alone makes it very popular.
The sweeping bill includes lower taxes and funding boosts for the Pentagon and border security. To help foot the bill, there are historic funding cuts to programs like Medicaid and food stamps. It's still expected to add $3.3 trillion to the U.S. deficit over the next decade.
Well, if we could cook up the perfect Friday night conditions for you, this is what we would serve up. Look at the evening at a glance. 27 degrees, feeling above 30 with the humidity, bright sunny skies, low winds, the sunset 9:01 p.m. Whatever you've got planned, the weather is going to cooperate, and nature is going to turn up the heat into the weekend. Still ahead on CTV News at noon, we'll tell you what to expect for all your weekend summer plans. A lot to like, but it could get a little hot. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers. You don't pay unless they win.
All right, let's talk about the forecast. It is Friday, and already we're off to a really good start. And what I love about the summertime, especially early summer, there's so many wonderful things to do outside.
Doesn't matter. Whatever corner of the city you live in, there's something happening. There's a festival, Nathan Phillips Square. They've got something all the time in the summer. It's so exciting. We're here. And here's the thing. There are only so many weekends in the summer, and they go by really fast. So when the weather cooperates, it's just an added bonus.
Take advantage of it. I'm thinking Salsa on St. Clair, Taste of Lawrence, just 2 top of mind as far as events happening this weekend. And of course, the Jays are playing, and so are the Argos tonight.
Oh, my goodness. I know. Little tidbit about Nathan. He really gets into all the things happening in the city. I love it. You're tapping.
We wait all year for it.
Right? Okay, so let's have a look at the specifics as we head into the weekend. Right now, 24 degrees, not much in the way of humidity, feeling like 25, really comfortable this hour for whatever you have plans. The high today, 27, so we're not that far off, but the humidity will ramp up a little bit, feeling like 32. So just keep that in mind if you are going to be outside for much of the day. Even warmer out towards London, a bit cooler north of Parry Sound. Sports forecast. If you are playing baseball, soccer, or if you're just hanging out on a patio, oh my goodness, 5 p.m., bright sunshine, and we've got 27 degrees. By 7 o'clock, the heat eases off a little bit, so it'll be even more comfortable. And then look, clear skies, 22 degrees at 9 p.m. This is a fabulous Friday. As I like to call it. So the lows tonight, very comfortable, relatively seasonal. It should be nice for sleeping. But I do want to show you this. So there is heat pushing in just in time for the weekend. Look at this into Saturday and Sunday. And then by next week, Monday, Tuesday, it eases off a little bit. So let me show you how that heat plays out. Here's the 7-day forecast. So we've got lovely conditions for today, but it will feel like 32 at times today. Saturday, Sunday, that's when we ramp up the heat as well as as the humidity. So we have highs of 31 and 33 degrees Saturday and Sunday, but then look at the humidex, 41 and 40. So keep that in mind. You'll want to stay hydrated if you are going to spend a lot of time outdoors. As well, there is the potential tomorrow afternoon for a thunderstorm, but look, 30%. We've had that potential this week and we didn't see it. We might not see anything, but keep in mind you could get a pop-up shower, but it doesn't look like a washout in any way, shape, or form. Enjoy your week, and then next week it cools down a little bit. But still, the summer heat and the sun, we are getting all kinds of summer in the forecast.
Yeah, lots to look forward to. Well, a popular beach in Midwestern Ontario saw its iconic sign change Monday night from Sauble Beach to Saugeen Beach.
CTV's Scott Miller has more on the symbolism behind this change.
Visitors to Sauble Beach are having to double take today as the iconic sign that greets tourists, which used to say Sauble Beach, changed Monday night.
My reaction was, what the heck happened?
On the eve of Canada Day, members of the Saugeen First Nation changed the sign at the end of Sauble Beach's main street from Welcome to Sauble Beach to Welcome to Saugeen Beach.
It's obviously been decades in the making. We've had a lot of struggles, and I feel like finally we can put our name on it.
Following a nearly 30-year court battle, the Saugeen First Nation had ownership of nearly 2.5 kilometers of Sauble Beach's valuable sand returned to them in April of 2023. A change to Sauble's sign was supposed to happen earlier this summer, but it was decided to hold off until the eve of Canada Day.
The timing, I think, and for me personally, the timing's perfect. It's a statement.
The sign change caught many off guard, including the town of South Bruce Peninsula. The Sauble Beach sign is a well-known landmark with deep meaning for many people, says South Bruce Peninsula's Mayor Jay Kirkland. While we respect Saugeen First Nation's right to make changes on their land, we believe open communication is important, especially when it involves something so symbolic to the broader community. While many visitors to Sauble Beach today said they didn't even notice the different sign, there has definitely been mixed reaction to those in the know.
It was disappointing and it was surprising just because I don't think many people knew that it was coming.
I'm really glad that they did it because, like, everyone knows it as Sauble Beach.
The sign change at the beachfront from Sauble Beach to Saugeen Beach is more symbolic than anything.
To everybody, it'll still be Sauble Beach. I mean, to the town, it's still Sauble Beach. It's just that this part of the beach is Saugeen First Nation, that's all.
There's a lot of years that it was the wrong name put on the beach, so I think it's time.
In Sauble Beach, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Well, beachgoers were caught off guard by what was prowling on the waters on Canada's east coast. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth with a reality check on what was, for a time, a maritime mystery.
Wednesday morning was a hot, lazy day at the beach when Grant Wilkinson spotted a huge fin in the water.
It would come out of the water approximately 2 feet.
It's pretty big.
Pretty big.
Everyone thought it was a shark, which was borderline terrifying.
It's getting more common now than it ever was.
So the beach was quickly declared off limits.
Lifeguards came and kind of asked everyone to get off the water and stay out of the water for a while.
Standard procedure when it comes to sharks possibly swimming alongside humans.
We close the beach for a couple of hours, keep an eye on it, and then if we see nothing else, we reopen the beach.
Run-ins with oversized fish are nothing new in these parts. Nicole Elizabeth was fishing near Queensland when she saw this.
Wow, it's huge.
But apparently not a shark.
Sure enough, it's this large sunfish just kind of having a leisurely swim, as I understand they do, near the surface.
Experts aren't sure if the fin spotted at Queensland was a shark. Neil Hammerschlag says now is a good time to remind people shark fears are slightly overstated.
And sharks help control and keep balance in the oceans and keep it healthy, so that's a good thing. But sharks generally don't want to have anything to do with people.
According to the Nova Scotia Lifeguard Service, last year there were as many as 4 reported fin sightings, and this was the first one of 2025. In the off chance anyone encounters a real shark at the beach, there are 3 basic tips to keep in mind.
Swim in supervised areas, stay safe, listen to the lifeguards.
It's always a good idea to play it safe, especially during shark season. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Queensland, Nova Scotia.
Just ahead, using social media to create accessible health information for Canada's diverse communities. The digital approach offering trustworthy, reliable resources. Stay with us.
Finding good, credible health resources online can be challenging, especially if English is not your first language.
Our health reporter, Pauline Chan, highlights a Canadian website that is offering reliable information in numerous languages.
It started as a COVID project, helping the Punjabi community find reliable health information for their families.
It became clear as the pandemic was rolling out and vaccines were rolling out that we really needed to think about how to communicate effectively with diverse communities, not just in terms of translating information, but also understanding, what their priorities were.
Dr. Rupadaman Minhas is a developmental pediatrician with St. Michael's Hospital, and his project has now grown into Our Kids Health Network.
The beauty of social media really is that you create something that really can spread very quickly.
There are now 10 language groups, including Arabic, Cantonese, Tamil, and even Inuit. Information ranges from measles or ADHD to more mundane questions.
Things that you wouldn't necessarily make an appointment to go see your healthcare provider on, but is good to know, like how to stop a nosebleed, how to trim a newborn's fingernails.
There's even a category for dads. Irina Dovoretska, a pediatrician in her native Ukraine, is responsible for the Ukrainian Kids Health chapter, and she says the work goes beyond just translation.
We not only translate the language, but also delivering the healthcare topics in a simpler language that is more understandable for families.
Registered behavioral analyst Althea Frank Esho says culturally sensitive presentations also create trust, especially for new immigrants and those for whom English is not a first language.
You can understand it easier, and I think you're more likely also to believe it if it's coming to you in your language, if there are examples that you can relate to, maybe the people even look like you.
The videos created by some 75 experts from various health fields and in different languages are available on Facebook and Instagram. And Our Kids Health Network is launching a Black Francophone group as well as additional Indigenous language groups in the near future. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A makeshift medical tent has been put up at a Kitchener encampment in response to the province forcing the shutdown of the region's consumption and treatment services site earlier this year.
Experts and people who work with the residents of the encampment say any kind of effort to help is better than nothing. Here's CTV's Jeff Pickle with more.
There's like a wide open area over here that is relatively central.
One of dozens of tents at 100 Victoria Street in Kitchener, a local community group setting up what they call a medical tent. Jacob is an outreach volunteer who lives on site.
This is people that live in the area that see a need, who are taking it of their own will to basically fill that need.
He is not part of the group establishing the tent, but says it's a welcome resource.
Filling in a lot of the gaps in terms of needs and stuff that, supposedly the region and the government is supposed to be providing.
This comes after the region's only CTS site, just a few blocks away, closed in March of this year after funding was pulled by the provincial government.
This is how people kept their communities alive before these services existed.
Jeff Bardwell is a researcher at the University of Waterloo who studies drug strategies. He says this type of community reaction is common.
If we think about other crises, whether it's, let's say, forest fires or floods or infectious diseases, communities find ways to respond that might be outside the norms of public health or outside the norms of government.
Bardwell says what's different is a lack of action from the government.
Perhaps what might be different here compared to, say, forest fires is perhaps the public perception, but also the lack of urgency at a provincial level. And so due to this lack of urgency or inaction in certain regards, unsurprisingly, we're seeing communities respond.
The region of Waterloo say they were not aware of the medical tent and are not involved, but had no further comment. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Kitchener.
There's been another drop in the number of new measles cases across the province. The latest update from Public Health Ontario shows 12 infections reported over the last week. That continues a downward trend after 33 were identified in the previous report, 96 the week before that. Ontario has seen more than 2,200 measles cases since an outbreak linked to an exposure in New Brunswick began in October. Officials have been encouraging vaccination to stop the spread and prevent more severe health outcomes from the highly contagious virus.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says a fish product has been recalled across several provinces, including Ontario. This is the item in question: anchovy fillets in olive oil with the brand name Vicente Merino. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says a specific lot with an expiry date of December 2025 is being recalled because it contains histamine. That's a chemical the body's immune system produces, but exposure to too much can cause health issues. Officials are advising anyone with the product to return it immediately to the store it was purchased or to throw it out.
To Hollywood now, where co-stars and colleagues are mourning the death of actor Michael Madsen.
Are you going to bark all day, little doggy, or are you going to bite?
Madsen was Mr. Blonde in Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. He was a favorite of the director, also featured in Kill Bill. Madsen appeared in more than 300 movies over his career. Many were low-budget features, but others, like Donnie Brasco and Free Willy, were big hits.
His public persona, his personal persona, were that of kind of a bad boy, and he brought that to role after role after role. I think that he, for his generation of actors, was like Robert Mitchum had been to his, someone who was a very good actor, well-trained, knew exactly what they were doing on screen, but just had this air of menace that made you want to watch them.
Madsen's manager says he died from cardiac arrest at his Malibu home. He was 67.
The latest entry into the Jurassic Park saga looks set to stomp its way to a win in the weekend box office.
This would be a medical breakthrough that could save countless lives. It comes from the largest dinosaurs on the planet.
Jurassic World Rebirth stars Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey in the latest reboot of the franchise. It sees their characters team up to try and retrieve DNA from revived dinosaurs. And as you might expect, not everything goes to plan. Deadline reports the movie could bring in nearly $82 million U.S. over the weekend. Jurassic World Rebirth hits theaters Wednesdays, or make that hit theaters Wednesday, to take advantage of the long weekend south of the border.
British rockers Oasis are launching their first tour in 16 years tonight.
Where were you while we were getting high?
The Live 25 reunion tour kicks off tonight in Cardiff. The Gallagher brothers have put their past hostilities on hold and are reuniting for 41 shows. Friends from around the world have gathered in Wales to take in the long-awaited performance.
A fan since '96 Nebworth, so yeah, here to see the comeback. I couldn't not come to the first gig. So, and then this is your first big gig, isn't it?
I don't know what's going to happen, but I am excited because I really love Oasis.
The reunion tour has dates across several continents, but the only Canadian stops will be right here in Toronto, August 24th and 25th at the new Rogers Stadium. Well, with summer in full swing, more people are expected to flock to the islands and waterfront.
In reaction to that, the city announcing today it's stepping up its emergency fire response in these areas with 2 new boats added to the Marine Unit. CTV's Beth McDonnell is live with more on the new vessels. Beth.
Nathan, every season, Toronto Fire and Rescue get between 300 and 500 calls for service, and now they have a new tool, 2 new tools to help meet these emergencies. Right behind me is the new fire rescue boat. We just got a little ride on this boat. It is very fast. It can actually go faster than the old one, and this means that, for example, going to the Scarborough Bluffs, in the past it would get there in an hour. Now it can get there in 15 minutes. So there's this fire rescue boat and also another fire rescue boat that looks like a Zodiac. And these two boats together are going to be able to be more efficient at responding to emergencies. And they're also, one big part, especially with the fire rescue boat, is that there is a cabin for paramedics to actually work with patients and treat emergencies. Here's more from the Deputy Mayor and the Fire Chief.
I'm excited to join Toronto Fire Services in celebrating 2 new marine response boats that will significantly strengthen our ability to respond faster and even more efficiently on our waterways.
The addition of these vessels, as the Deputy Mayor noted, strengthens our ability to respond to emergencies on the water, enhance fire protection, and support public safety across Toronto's growing waterfront and island communities. The Toronto Fire Services Marine Operation Division protects lives and property within the Toronto Harbour, waterfront properties along the entire south end of the city, and the adjacent waters of Lake Ontario.
The 2 new vessels were approved in 2022, and they come at a cost of $4 million. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
U.S. stock markets are closed for July 4th, but all eyes are on the TSX today after it hit a record high. The S&P TSX Composite closed above 27,000 points for the first time ever yesterday, marking a more than 9% boost to Canada's benchmark stock index since the start of 2025. So far today, that increase has held, if only barely, as analysts say telecom stocks helped lift the index in late morning trading. Well, if you want to learn a sport and you'd like to try and hit a golf ball, pick up a tennis racket, or try kite surfing even, it can be daunting to try and figure out where to start.
But now there's a new platform that launched in the GTA, which is connecting students and instructors for lessons. CTV's Pat Foran has this consumer alert.
The main rule is you can't step in the kitchen, which is the light blue here.
Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in Canada. It's something people of all ages can play and takes just a few lessons to get the hang of it. James Mitchell is an instructor who offers his coaching services on Teach Me Too, a website that allows him to coach players on evenings and weekends and make some money at the same time.
It's not as crazy as tennis, and it's a little bit more of a step up from ping pong. They just like it because it gets you out moving. I think people like the social aspect of it.
Nicholas Mazumenos has played tennis in the past, but wanted to give pickleball a try.
It's going good. It's my second lesson. I feel like I've learned a lot.
We started having Canadian coaches sign up and they wanted to teach, and then they started getting booked. And so we were like, man, we need to double down on this. Teach Me Too founder Tyler Maloney says following its success in the U.S., it's now offering services in Toronto. Students find local coaches offering lessons at a price point and skill level they want, and the first lesson is free. So far, its most popular sports here are golf, tennis, and pickleball, but it's hoping to add more activities that are on its U.S. platform, too. Music theory, rock climbing, stand-up paddleboarding, beach volleyball, juggling. Maz Patel only started golfing a year ago, but he enjoys the game and wanted to take lessons to get to the next level.
I just want to play consistent, and if I'm going out there from people from work, I don't want to look bad.
For coach Craig Cook, it's a way to share his love of golf and earn extra money teaching part-time.
I teach all ranges of golfers, beginner, intermediate, and more advanced. I also offer playing lessons on the course.
Lessons start at about $50 and increase depending on the instructor's skill level. The website makes money taking a fee from each lesson. More coaches are needed and can apply online. The website is hoping to expand its services in Canada in the future. Pat Foran, CTV News.
The city is rolling out a trio of new initiatives to get homes built faster. Mayor Olivia Chow announced today standardized building plans for garden and laneway suites will now be available to the public for free. The city is also updating and expanding its online services to accept building permit application submissions for new houses and new residential units. Mayor Chow said the steps being taken will make it easier for homeowners to get shovels in the ground with plans approved under the provincial building code.
What I'm doing is being really practical and say, if you want, hey, this is what it looks like. This is how you can do it. You don't even need to hire an architect. You don't have to find a planner. You don't need to have all these complicated application process.
The city is also expanding a program that allows licensed engineers to stamp building drawings and assume responsibility for building code compliance. That's expected to reduce the time from permit application to occupancy by about a month.
The Toronto real estate market saw home sales climb for a third straight month in June, but they're still lagging behind last year's numbers. The latest figures from the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board show 6,243 properties exchanged hands last month. That works out to a 2.4% year-over-year drop for June. At the same time, sales were up more than 8% compared to May. Treb says that increase was propelled by a growing number of listings and a decline in home prices. The average selling price last month was down more than 5% compared to June 2024 to just over $1.1 million.
You know, prices are off in comparison to where we were last year, and people are able to negotiate better terms for a mortgage as well. And so that all translates into, you know, lower monthly payments than what people would have been looking at, say, in June of 2024. It's just that, you know, now if you're thinking about, you know, taking that leap into the housing market, perhaps as a first-time buyer looking to buy a condo or something, you're saying, look, I want to take advantage of this affordability, but at the same time, I'm a little bit concerned about, you know, where my employment situation is going to be, you know, especially if you're in one of those segments that might be impacted by, you know, trade disputes and what have you.
The board says it expects interest cuts and trade deals with the U.S. to help boost home sales in the GTA.
With the 2026 FIFA World Cup less than a year away, a new poll is highlighting concerns from Ontario residents regarding the hosting costs. The Leger poll found half do not think the games are worth the cost, with about 40% thinking the games are worth the money spent. The rest undecided. Toronto is hosting 6 World Cup games next year with an estimated cost of $380 million.
Summer is here, and that means plenty of festivals and events taking over city streets. This weekend, more than 150 vendors will line the road at Scarborough's largest street festival, Taste of Lawrence. The event starts tonight at 6 and runs until Sunday evening. Lawrence will be closed between Warden and Birchmount for the festivities. Along with plenty of food vendors, people can enjoy midway rides and live performances. Taste of the Middle East takes over Nathan Phillips Square, highlighting food, art, music, and Arabic traditions. The festivities begin at 6 o'clock tonight and run till Sunday at 9 p.m. Organizers say there are more than 60 live performances planned this year.
Salsa on St. Clair gets started at 8 a.m. Saturday, runs until Sunday at 11 p.m. St. Clair will be closed between Christie and Winona Drive. Attendees can enjoy Latin food from more than 15 countries, vibrant live performances, and interactive classes. And Summerlicious is officially underway. This culinary event aims to encourage residents to get out and try new Toronto restaurants and support local businesses. More than 200 restaurants are serving up 3-course fixed-price menus with lunch prices ranging from $20 to $55 and dinner from $25 to $75. Summerlicious runs until July 20th.
And if you're planning to head to all those events or anywhere else around the city this weekend, there are some transit disruptions to keep in mind. Tonight, there'll be no subway service on Line 1 between St. Clair West and St. Andrew Station starting at 11 p.m. until the end of service. Then tomorrow and Sunday, Line 2 trains won't be running between Kipling and Jane stations. Both of these closures are to enable TTC crews to get some scheduled work done, and shuttle buses will be running instead. And a heads up for GO Transit riders, there'll be no train service on the Stouffville line on Saturday or Sunday. Metrolink says important construction upgrades are taking place, and that means riders will be taking replacement buses. Those buses will stop at all stops outside the TTC service area, as well as Union Station. Riders within the city are advised to take local transit.
Well, the so-called greatest show on earth has begun.
How much fun would this be, though, if you're in the crowd?
Right down to see a star like that.
Oh, yeah. Gosh.
Country superstar Shania Twain served as the Grand Marshal of the Calgary Stampede parade today. Up to 300,000 people were expected to line the streets for this event. This parade kicking off a 10-day celebration of the Western way of life. It attracted almost 1.5 million people last summer. Coming up, relishing a popular July 4th celebration, the annual Nathan's hot dog eating contest after the break.
Well, it's the 4th of July, and that means the annual Nathan's hot dog eating contest is back.
We are witnessing true greatness, true virtuosity.
Miki Sudo defended her title in the women's division. She gobbled down 33 hot dogs and buns today to win her 10th championship. Sudo ate a record 51 hot dogs last year. In the men's division, Joey Jaws Chestnut won his 17th mustard belt. The famed competitive eater ran away with it this year, downing 70 hot dogs. Chestnut missed last year's contest because of a contract dispute, but it's good to see him back. One hot dog for me, maybe two is enough.
Yikes. Okay, heads up. Since we last talked weather, Environment Canada has issued a heat warning. Let's have a look because we've got the humidity, 40, 41 degrees feeling like over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Currently, very comfortable temperatures, dry, beautiful sunshine. It's feeling so beautiful on this Friday. If you're heading up to cottage country, we've got that intense heat, but also more of a threat of unsettled weather, maybe a thunderstorm, so keep that in mind. So for us in the city, it could get unstable Saturday and Sunday. We've got the heat, but for the most part, it'll be a solid summer day. Just factor in potentially uncomfortable conditions. Then towards Monday, looking more unsettled, and we cool back down a little bit more and ease up on the humidity into next week.
All right, pretty good. That is CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For the whole team here at CTV News, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great afternoon.